Daniel had lived long enough to know that true faith often demands patience, courage, and quiet defiance. He had seen empires rise and fall, kings pass into history, and nations bend under the weight of their own pride. Yet Daniel himself remained steadfast. His life was not marked by ambition, but by obedience. Every day, he chose integrity over compromise, devotion over convenience. Every day, he prayed. Now Daniel served under King Darius, a ruler both wise and strong, yet easily swayed by the counsel of those who surrounded him. Daniel's diligence, his unwavering dedication, and his visible faith had made him respected and, simultaneously, envied. For some, envy simmers quietly. For others, it drives them to cunning and deceit. The officials who coveted Daniel's influence were not men of violence, but of calculation. They waited. They watched. They planned. Jealousy often wears the mask of righteousness. These men whispered behind closed doors, speaking of laws, order, and loyalty. They knew that Daniel's faith was unshakable. They could not touch his character. They could not undermine his achievements. There was only one path left: to attack the devotion that connected him to the living God. If they could make faith itself the crime, then Daniel could be destroyed. They approached King Darius with meticulous care. Their words were polished, their demeanor respectful. "Great King," they said, "all must honor the law. Let us decree that for 30 days no one may pray to any god or man except you. Anyone who disobeys shall be thrown into the lion's den." To the king, it sounded orderly, even honorable. To them, it was a trap. Darius, impressed by their reasoning and unaware of their intent, agreed. The law was sealed. By Persian law, a decree could not be revoked. Once issued, it was binding. That night, the city buzzed with whispers of Daniel's fate, but Daniel remained unchanged. When the appointed time for prayer came, he did not hide. He did not strategize. He did not pause in fear. He went to his upper room, opened the windows toward Jerusalem, and knelt. Hands raised, heart steady, he prayed. The officials were ready. They had planned carefully, observed silently, and recorded every detail. They found Daniel exactly where they expected him: devoted, upright, faithful. They reported immediately to the king, their voices measured, their words rehearsed. "O king, did you not sign a decree forbidding prayer to any god or man except you? And look, Daniel still prays to his God." King Darius was shaken. He knew Daniel. He trusted Daniel. He admired Daniel. Yet the law had been signed. He was bound by his own decree. He spent the day pacing, consulting advisors, searching for any loophole. But none existed. The law of the Medes and Persians could not be overturned. The reality pressed upon him: Daniel would be thrown to the lions. The procession began. Guards escorted Daniel through the vast stone corridors, not with aggression, but with solemn precision. Daniel walked calmly, his posture composed, his expression serene. There was no struggle, no fear overtaking him. He had lived long enough to understand that faith is often tested not in comfort, but in confinement. Daniel entered the lion's den. The stone rolled into place. The seal was affixed. Darkness enveloped him. The night was silent, yet weighty. The den was a cavern of shadows, filled with the latent power of the lions resting within. The threat was present, palpable, Yet Daniel's heart remained unshaken. He knelt once more, lifted his hands, and prayed. He did not plead for deliverance alone. He prayed for trust, for courage, for the wisdom to remain steadfast, knowing that God's presence does not always come with spectacle, but with assurance. He prayed that the God he had served all his life would honor that faithfulness. Above, the king could not rest. Sleep fled him. Lamps burned dimly, shadows twisting across the royal chamber. His mind replayed the day, the accusations, the unavoidable decree. He thought of Daniel's calm, dignified face and felt both admiration and dread. Would his most trusted servant survive? Could the God Daniel worship honor him in the face of certain death? The king's heart was heavy, torn between law, justice, and mercy. Inside the den, the darkness was profound, yet Daniel felt a presence brighter than any sun. The lions, creatures of immense strength, remained subdued. The air shimmered with divine authority, unseen yet undeniable. The angel of the Lord had come. No roaring, no immediate violence, just stillness, protection, sacred peace. Daniel's faith had not changed the danger itself, it had changed the outcome. Faith transformed the very environment of threat into a place of divine encounter. Morning came slowly. Light crept through the den's entrance, soft and reverent. King Darius, unable to wait, rushed to the den. His voice trembled as he called, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to rescue you?" From the shadows, calm and steady, came Daniel's reply, "My king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions. I have been found innocent in his sight, and also in yours." Relief flooded the king. He commanded the stone be rolled away. Daniel emerged, unharmed, his garments clean, his face calm, his faith intact. The people who had gathered stood in awe. The man who had entered the den now stood in the light, a living testimony to God's presence and protection. The king proclaimed a decree: "Revere the God of Daniel, the living God, whose kingdom endures forever. All who speak against him shall be punished, for he is the eternal ruler." Daniel did not celebrate. He did not seek reward. He returned to prayer. Because for him, the miracle was never about recognition, about applause, or about safety. The miracle was obedience before reward, faith before outcome, and steadfast devotion before deliverance. The story of Daniel teaches a truth still relevant today. Faithfulness does not always prevent trials. Courage does not guarantee comfort. Obedience does not always lead to immediate relief. But God's presence transforms danger into sanctuary, darkness into light, threat into testimony. The lions did not change, the God who shut their mouths did. And the man who prayed did not change. His faith was proven consistent. Faithfulness before reward is what God honors. Daniel's life was a pattern of devotion. He prayed before danger. He prayed during confinement. He prayed after salvation. And that pattern, unwavering and true, became a legacy that speaks across generations. Because in the end, it is not the miracle itself that endures, but the unwavering obedience that leads to it. Daniel had prayed anyway. And through that obedience, God made a way, showing that faithfulness, not fear, defines the truly brave.